Last 5 seconds. Done.
So,
Akriti.
Jai Jain everyone. Welcome on behalf of JCAF Midtown chapter. And we are today here for 8th session of JCAF Dharam Charcha. And this is a huge special series. So, today our topic is also a very relevant and a practical topic. It's career and Jainism. So, all of us, and especially more in professional world, where work is the biggest part of our lives, would definitely agree to a fact that we are faced with conflicts and dilemmas on a day-to-day basis when we are into decision making. And these dilemmas really test our moral compass. So, the speaker for today, the veteran in the sense that he has been in investment banking, one of the testing careers for 18 years now. So, he is the, I think, most suitable person for the topic. While we all know that, okay, there can't be a perfect solution for all these things because there's a lot of judgment involved. But of course, we can discuss and in today's session find out that how to find a balance between the interest of the organization as well as be in harmony with our values. So let's begin with our discussion on Dharam Charcha on career and ethical choices. Jainism, how Jainism can provide solution on that. So before I introduce our speaker, I'll call Puneetji for a introductory speech.
Thank you,
Uh,
Akriti ji.
पहले एक
पुनीत
नौकर
भाई,
मंत्र
can
दे
we
दीजिए पुनीत भाई।
नवकार मंत्र? पुनीत भाई.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So let's
Yeah,
start
yeah.
our discussion with Naukar Mantra, and would request everyone to join your hands and chant Naukar Mantra along with us. Om Namo Harinam. Om Namo Siddhanam. Om Namo Ayaryanam. Om Namo Vachayanam. Namo Loe Savatahunam. Eso Panchamaskare. Sava Pava Pranasano. Mangalanam Cha Sarvesim. Mangalanam Cha Sarvesim. Padamam Havai Mangalam. Padamam Havai Mangalam. Thank you, Akriti, for allowing me to start the series. Welcome all the members. I, on behalf of Jain Chartered Accountant Federation, Apex, and All India Jain Chartered Accountant Federation, welcome all the members for this exciting today's session of JCF Dharam Charcha for career choices. So Jainism and career choices, how they correlate with each other, why are two important? While जीवन में रहना है तो हमारे कर्म भी हमको करने हैं, and as Akriti rightly said at the beginning that it is always a dilemma whether it is in individual CA's profession or in your career. I think Taral bhai is going to take up both the subjects because we as a chartered accountant do come across a client who is serving majorly on non-veg, a client who is having business which we are normally not used to uh, s- uh, uh, see when we are doing our normal schooling and our other these things. So these are all the dilemmas that while a fresh chartered accountant would have it, whether he should join a hotel chain which is serving majorly as non-veg, or whether we as a chartered accountant would do a service or maybe working with that particular client or not. So these are the choices, but how do we navigate those things? What are the fresh choices available? And with these questions, I request CA Taral Shah to please take up. And I think Akriti ji, do you want to add an introduction of Taral Bhai, or we can request him to start take over the session?
Yeah, just quickly an introduction. So he is a chartered himself and in MBO. He has been in corporate for almost 18 years by profession. He is heading an entity in Gift City, in which is the fastest expanding foreign bank in India. And he has also done a course on Jainism in 2018 and a diploma in 2019 from University of Mumbai. This is again on Jainism. So, and he has hosted a quiz, first global Jain academic bowl, a multinational quiz on competition on Jainism. So let's invite, with this background, let's invite Mr. Taral Shah for this Dharam Charcha. Welcome, Taralji.
Thank you.
Taral bhai, I think your voice has gone off.
Is it better?
Yeah, okay.
Taral bhai, please unmute yourself.
There's some network issue.
I
I
am
think we
unmuted.
can't.
Can you hear me?
Not clearly. Voice is breaking in between.
Is it better? I'm sorry. Sorry for this network today. There is a problem since morning.
Uh,
Can you speak?
yeah,
Can
we
you
can
hear
hear you,
me?
but
Can
we can hear you.
you
Can't see you though, but
hear me?
yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, you can please start without the video.
I just yeah. Okay. So today's topic, which is given to me is Jainism and career. I would like to start by, asking a question, and possibly, you could use chat here, because, I don't want to be a preacher here. Let me set the context right. I don't want to really be a preacher or a lecturer, but, I am going to act more as a facilitator, and I'm going to bring the thoughts in a structured way so that, we could.
Taral bhai, sorry to interrupt. Can you please move to some better location where you will get better signal? Because we can't hear
Okay,
you
give me a
properly.
moment. Okay, just give me a moment.
Yeah, please take your time. No problem. Taral bhai, you can start at any time whenever you feel comfortable. In meantime, let me just update today's audience about JCF Dharma Charcha 2024. Friends, this Dharma Charcha session series was mainly dedicated to the youth of Jain community, and we tried to cover up many subjects. हमने बहुत सारे जो विषय है जो यूथ के साथ कनेक्ट करते हैं, ऐसे विषयों को लेने की हमने इसमें कोशिश की है। आज के विश्व में, आज के जग में, आज के समय में जैनिज्म का क्या महत्व है, क्या प्रासंगिकता है, एक विषय हमने लिया था, जैनिज्म इन मॉडर्न वर्ल्ड। इसके बाद में हमने माइंडफुलनेस और मेंटल हेल्थ के बारे में एक विषय लिया था, जिसमें हमने हाउ जैनिज्म कैन हेल्प टू हैव योर पीस ऑफ माइंड, और उस तरीके से मेंटल हेल्थ कैसे संभाली जाए। इथिकल कंज्यूमरिज्म, जो उपभोक्तावाद जो है, अतिरिक्त जो हम उपभोग कर रहे हैं, इसमें जैनिज्म का क्या संदेश है और क्या सीख है, इसको हमने समझने की कोशिश की थी। सोशल मीडिया जो हम यूज करते हैं डे इन डे आउट, सोशल मीडिया इज बिकमिंग अ पार्ट ऑफ आवर लाइफ, एंड देन हाउ टू हैव दैट बैलेंस between Jain principles and use of social media, इसके बारे में हमने जाना था। हाउ टू सी अ बिगर पिक्चर, कोई भी चीज को देखने के जो अनेक तरीके हो सकते हैं या अलग अलग दृष्टिकोण से जो देखी जा सकती है, अनेकांतवाद जो तत्व या मूल्य हमें देता है, तो उस लाइंस पे हमने एक द स्टोरी 360 डिग्री बोल के हमने एक टॉपिक लिया था। एनवायरमेंट और जैनिज्म, वो एक टॉपिक हमने लास्ट हमने वही सेशन में कवर किया है। तरल भाई, इफ यू आर रेडी, वी कैन जस्ट स्टार्ट। It was just a filler to let you prepare yourself. Please unmute yourself, Taral bhai. Please unmute yourself.
Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. Great. Okay, thank you for setting up that context. And that leads me to the session career and Jainism. I was saying that today I'm not going to be acting as a preacher, a teacher, a lecturer. It's more of a facilitator. I'm going to facilitate today's conversation in such a way that get all the thoughts together. Just structure the thoughts. मेरा काम सिर्फ आप सबको एक ध्यान एकत्रित करना होगा and not really talk and give you advice. For that there are many professionals out there. So with that context, let me ask you all a question. What is career? We say career, it's such a term which is used generally. What is career? uh, if we go purely by the definition of dictionary, career is an occupation undertaken for a significant period of person's life. तो ये जो important phrase है, significant period of person's life with opportunities for progress. So I would like to highlight upon two things in this definition. One, significant period. The youngsters today spend most of their life, uh, and to put a number, to put a fact, 1/3 of their life in working, which at this 1/3 of their life is the most critical phase. It's not the childhood, it's not the old age, it's the young period of your time, where you're active, where you are young, you are dashing, you are attractive, and that phase goes in the work. And then the other part of the definition that I would like to highlight is progress. Now, progress could really mean different things for different people. For some people, having your own business with 100 people working below you could mean progress. For some others, getting a corporate rank, a managing director, a CEO could mean progress. For some others, just purely making money could mean progress. Or for some others, having your name popular could mean progress. Progress सबके लिए अलग मायने रखता है. But irrespective of whether it is subjective or not, we in our career want to progress. So two important aspects of the definition: one, significant period that we spend, and hence it's important that we follow some of the principles that we want to follow as part of our life. And two, progress. We want to also progress in whatever we follow. So the topic is career and Jainism. What are the basic principles of Jainism? Yes, of course, the ultimate aim is moksha. The ultimate aim is to achieve liberation from the cycle of birth and death. But what do we do to do that? There are basic 5 anuvrahas. They are ahimsa, non-violence, it's satya, truthfulness, there is asteya, non-stealing, there is brahmacharya, chastity, and then there is aparigraha, which is non-possession. So, now we have a definition of career in front of us. We have the principles of Jainism in front of us. With this background, let me bring you to a next question. What are the questions that you ask, when you are considering a career choice? If there are youngsters on this call who themselves are in a phase where they have to make a career choice, or if there are parents, grandparents who are looking for a career choice of their kids, what are the questions you would generally ask? You would ask, what are the areas of interest? You would ask, what is the future in it? You would possibly ask, will it entail into doing a business of your own, or would you entail getting into a job? You would, ask, will it involve too much traveling? You would ask whether there is an opportunity to go abroad. These are the questions, right? Uh, these are the questions that you will ask when you are taking a choice in career. Have you ever asked? Have anybody ever asked a question when taking a career choice? Will it involve activities that you might want to avoid? You know, would it mean that you would want to take a client to a dinner and pay bill for food which isn't really Jain friendly? Have you ever asked this question? Have you asked a question? What will be the culture of the company if you are getting into a job? Does it promote honesty? Does it promote truthfulness? Each company have their own values, right? Every company have their values, have their ethics. Have you asked these questions? Today, as part of next 30-40 minutes, what we will try to do is we will try to get all of this together. And, I'll try to give you a formula which is possibly inspired in a way by our Jainacharya Ratna Sundar Sureshwarji Maharaj Sahib in a book that he wrote, A Way for Heaven. So that inspired me, and by taking that as an inspiration, considering that for career progress is the heaven, and for Jain following our principles is the heaven. How do you match this heaven? So let's decode this heaven. Are you all with me? Can I have some, chats, raise, hi, yes, say yes. Say yes in the chat. So, I know, you are all with me. Okay, we have few yeses. Thank you so much. So, what does heaven means? Let's decode the heaven. H E A V E N. That's heaven. Yeah, that's the spelling of heaven. H मतलब क्या? H का मतलब होता है health. When we decide upon a career, health is one of the most important aspect. अभी health में there could be physical health and mental health. Physical health, and when you talk about Jainism and the topic that most people love, and we also touched upon it in the beginning of today's Charcha. Physical health, a big part is played by food, and really, whether we should go in industry which is linked to food, which is not relevant to Jainism principles. With that, so when I talk about heaven and we decode, we'll touch upon few industries or few career options. To start with, the most debated one, which is hotel management or hospitality. Yeah. Do we really, want to go into hotel management industry? It's an informed decision. Yes, it will lead you to connect to multiple hotels. You may end up supplying food, product, services to various hotels. You will end up connecting with steak houses. There will be a lot of opportunities which will be there, and you will need to draw a line. If you have to follow your principles, have to draw, and for that, you may have to reject some of the work, or you may have to even work on alternatives, which then could be less rewarding. Again, so as they say, karyu karayu anumodyu. Even if you are in that industry and you yourself are not directly involved, but if you are somewhere appreciating or inspiring, that also leads karyu karayu anumodyu. So it says do deeds which are directly or indirectly in favor of the principles, but also act in a manner that you don't appreciate things which are prohibited. Since we are speaking about health, mostly when you talk about health, you will relate to another career industry called medicine. And then there are a lot of options in medicines which could be aligned to Jain values. Medicine is a huge field in it. Say nursing, there are alternative medicines like Ayurveda, homeopathy. There are a whole lot of aspects within medicine which you could adopt, you could make your career into, and follow your principles. Since we are speaking about health, there is another good opportunity if you are looking for something like a yoga or a meditation instructor. As Jains, we all practice spiritual growth through self-reflection. In this career, you could always stay true to the spiritual and ethical values of the profession. So that largely covers H. Now comes the most important and interesting part. E. Heaven, Heaven. So He, we come to E. E is equation of life. Again, I would want to people, the participants, to start using your chat and let me know. I'm going to give you an equation and then ask you a question. So equation is very simple. The equation is x plus y is equal to 10. Yeah, everyone with me? मैं repeat करता हूँ. x plus y is equal to 10. अब मैं आपको सवाल पूछता हूँ. Please type in your answers in the chat. If x is equal to 5, what is y? Can I have few answers in the chat? X plus y is equal to 10. If x is equal to 5, what is y? Okay, so we have Akriti first, 5, and then we have few others saying 5. Yes, 5 is the right answer. Let me rephrase the equation. The question now is, if x is equal to square root of 25, what is y? Can we have some more chats? Oh, is it 5? Mahavir ji has written 5. If x is equal to square, that's only one answer. So in the first equation, we had a few answers. Now we only have one. Okay, there are a few more people. Okay, let me now ask you another equation. If x is equal to square root of 625 minus square root of 400, what is y? Okay, 5, yeah. So the point I am trying to bring here is not really arithmetics or mathematics. The point I am trying to bring here is एक इक्वेशन है, इक्वेशन जर्नी है और एक डेस्टिनेशन है. सबका डेस्टिनेशन सेम है. We all have to go towards liberation as per our principles. But the path that we took sometimes could be easy, sometimes could be time consuming. In the first equation, x is equal to 5, y is equal to 5, that was so quick. But, when I said x is equal to square root of 625 minus x, square root of 400, it took some time, right? Life is such. In this equation now, just go back to the equation और इसको replace करते हैं. X क्या है? तो X is something that happens to me. मेरे साथ जो हो रहा है वो X है. और Y क्या है? Y is something that I do to others. Okay? X plus Y. What happens to me and what I do to others? What happens to me is karma. What I do to others is dharma. Then what will be 10? 10 is Dev Guru ki agya. So in this equation, karma plus dharma is ultimately Dev Guru ki agya. Now, what is in your hand? Karma is not in your hand. Dharma is. What you have to do is pull out this X and give it to Dev Guru. So the equation becomes Y is equal to 10 minus X. Give the karma to Dev Guru ki agya and you continue doing your dharma. All you have to do is continue doing your dharma. No problem is such which does not have a solution. Absolutely. The path could be simpler. Sometimes the path could be time consuming, but you will get your solution. A shortcut is never a solution. In your career, never take a shortcut. A suicide is never a solution. I brought this up because today, September 10th, it's the World Suicide Prevention Day. Taking a shortcut or not even trying and attempting and going to the last possible alternative is not an option. I hope all are with me. Since we are speaking about shortcut, let's bring back our energy to career options. Gambling. People say gambling, casino, it's getting some momentum these days. Avoid. I mean, you can completely avoid that. Something that involves chance, something that involves speculation, something that involves exploitation,
can certainly be avoided. So while I may say gambling, people will then come back to the one of the most important and interesting area, which is share market. Let's give a moment to share market. SEBI, SEBI is the regulator for markets. In their latest report of 2023, revealed that 7 out of 10 intraday trading cash segment have made losses. ये बहुत ज्यादा गंभीर है, आप समझिए इस बात को. 76% traders, and if I go further deep into it, most of these are under the age of 30. They're all young kids, have made losses. जिसको शेयर मार्केट की लत लग जाती है. What do you mean by lat lag jati? You are doing 500, 600 trades in a year. 80% of such people who are involved in intraday are into losses. If I pick up all of this together, the Satta Bajar in India, the losses made by the people is amounting to 15 trillion rupees. 15 trillion. Do you even know how many zeros trillion has? 12 zeros ahead of 15. That's the amount of losses. Only 10% people earn, 90% are losing. And our own Jain youth is getting dragged in the name of fast money. Are we ready to face it? Are we ready to take a punt on this? I'm not saying share market is that. Yes, you do informed investments. You do investments which are based on analysis. You do investments for long term. You do investments in the companies who have their own principles, which are aligned to your principles. And that's the way to go. The only I'm trying to say is, don't really get into speculation. And this brings me to a good line that I read somewhere. Being right is not enough. You need to be good at it. Yeah, I repeat, being right is not enough. You need to be good at it. You can never be good at satta. You could be right. Sometimes you may end up making some money and you will feel that your decision was right. But you can never be good. It's always the luck. It's always the luck. So, remember this statement. Being right is not enough. You need to be good at it. Okay. Bringing it back to our own path towards the heaven. We spoke about H, health. We spoke about E, equation of life, x plus y is equal to 10. Let's bring the next aspect into consideration, attitude. Attitude is A next. How do you show your attitude? Most of the Jains, not most of the Jains, a lot of Jains and the youth in particular use a very term called FOMO. Have you all heard about FOMO? It's for those who don't know, FOMO is fear of missing out. A lot of our Jains have this fear of missing out when they go out in the world. We should try and put into our own principles and replace the word FOMO with JOMO. It's just the opposite, JOMO. What is JOMO? JOMO is joy of missing out. So let's replace FOMO from fear of missing out to JOMO, joy of missing out. And that brings me to a few other industries in career. Agriculture. Historically, Jains have been persuaded to do trade. बरसों से Jains trading में आगे रहे हैं. क्यों not in agriculture? क्यों not in manufacturing? The logic being that involves less violence. Even today, and from ages and generations today, we see most of the Jains are involved in service or service-related industry. Does that mean that we are missing out on agriculture? Do you have a fear of missing out on agriculture because you are in a service industry? No, you enjoy what you are doing. And one industry that quickly comes to my mind now is mass media. So mass media में लोग बोलते हैं कि media, entertainment, there will be a lot of hush. Yes, you should avoid something which involves violence. You should avoid something which involves exploitation to others. such as violent video games for that matter, or harmful media for that matter, avoid. But there are others which you could follow with the Jain principles. You could go into writing, you could go into journalism, you could involve, you could get into involved into communication, which really, have Jain values and principles, and you could actually inspire others through the media and publishing that you are doing. Uh, since we are talking about FOMO, JOMO, let me give you my own example. And I have faced it. Nothing of it is exaggerated. मैंने खुद ने ये जर्नी जी है. So when I'm in a corporate world, और मुझे कभी from a responsibility perspective parties में जाना होता है. And when I go to such parties, 90% of the people are drinking. That's the reality. That's the sad reality, but it's a reality. I stand by my principles. I don't even touch it. Now, you would say FOMO, fear of missing out. एक बार try करते, क्यों try करते हैं? Why? In my junior days, जब मैं corporate industry में नया था, fresher था, there have been instances of me being forced. But I stood by my principles. Everybody have to stand by your principles. And, as I look back today, after, about close to 20 years of my career, today I have grown, I am leading the team. People get inspired. Forget about forcing me. People don't even ask me. Forget about asking me. People themselves do not touch or have consumed it in front of me. Today I have a team of whatever number of people. One person used to drink. He's got inspired and stopped drinking. And again, not exaggerating, these are facts. One person was consuming non-veg. We used to always go to veg restaurant. He's a day decided that he's not going to consume non-veg anymore. So from being a junior person to being forced to being a leader, as inspiring others, that's the journey everyone will go through. So that's, moving from a FOMO to JOMO journey that you people have to carry out. When we talk about attitude, coming back to another career option called education. Yes, go into teaching, go into counseling. There are so many research in fields like philosophy, spirituality, environmental sciences. There are so many fields in teaching, education. I would like to give one example here. Veerchand Gandhi. Veerchand Gandhi was the first one to give a lecture on Jainism in the World Parliament of Religions way back in 1893 in Chicago. अब उसका लेक्चर इतना इफेक्टिव था कि उनको 2 साल यूएस में रहना पड़ा और 1 साल यूके में रहना पड़ा. And in those 3 years, he delivered 535 lectures on Jainism. जब उस जमाने में we have people like that, examples like that. What can stop us? Okay, I know there is a time limitation. Just quickly go to other areas. When we talk about attitude, when we talk about environment, there are a whole lot of social, cultural areas which are coming up. Charity management is a career now coming up. Social justice. There are animal welfare organizations. There are environmental conservations. There are a whole lot of eco-friendly technologies which is coming up. Lot of growth and potential, eco-friendly technologies. There is wildlife preservation. There are so many areas you think you name and you have something. You like wildlife, go into wildlife preservation. You could follow your principles and you could also have a career good to it. Okay, quickly going to the next part of heaven. So we cover HEA. Now we go to V. V is your vision. You should have a vision. Now, vision could be short-sighted or long-sighted. और हमारे भाषा में बोले तो let me break it into 4 aspects. One is charam drishya. Charam क्या होता है? Something which is visible by your naked eyes. Then you go into vichar. Vichar is, whether it is right or wrong. Then we go into vivek. Vivek is whether it is good or bad. And finally, it's shraddha. It's the faith. It's the blind faith. When you take a career decision, what vision do you have? Do you take a career decision purely based on what is visible to you through your naked eye? Or do you go one step beyond and थिंक अबाउट इट, यू नो विचार करते हो आप उसके बारे में कि वो सही है या गलत है, राइट और रॉन्ग, दैट्स वेयर योर माइंड कम्स इनटू प्लेस. Or do you go one more further step and think about Vivek, think about good or bad? That's where your heart comes into place. And finally, have your Shraddha on the principles that are given by our Tirthankaras, that are written in our Agams. So, think about these steps and at what stage do you take your career decision. This brings me uh, to again coming back to education. At what stage do we take our career decisions in India? Largely, जब आप बोर्ड एग्जाम देते हो या जब आप एक स्ट्रीम सिलेक्ट करना होता है, तो लार्जली वी हैव साइंस, वी हैव कॉमर्स एंड वी हैव आर्ट्स. अब साइंस हमने थोड़ा बहुत मेडिकल के नाम पे कवर कर लिया, बट देयर आर लॉट एंड लॉट ऑफ स्ट्रीम्स इन साइंस. इंजीनियरिंग में बोलो तो 200 प्रकार के तो सिर्फ इंजीनियरिंग है. You can go into things like biotechnology. You could go into genetics. You could go into robotics, which is an upcoming field. You could go into ecology. And all of these new coming up fields promote non-violent innovation. So that's about science. You know, Lots of fields you could select which could go in parallel to your ethics. Let's come to commerce. Commerce, funny as a fact, I don't know if most of you are know or not, but it's a field in India. It's a field that we select in India. It does not really exist in a lot of other developed nations. So what comes under commerce? Largely finance-related jobs, finance-related careers. We have our chartered accountant colleagues on this call. So CA, CS, CWA, we have MBA. So largely, when you go into these fields, you have two options. एक, या तो खुद का practice करे, या दो, job करे. Again, both you can weigh the pros and cons. Irrespective of whether you get into practice or job, you could still follow your principles. Again, law, same, law करे, तो practice करे या job करे. All you have to keep in mind is careers which involves exploiting others, exploiting financial practices, exploiting legal practices should not be done. That's it. You follow your principles and you do, irrespective of whether you are in a practice or job, or you move from job to practice or practice to job. Doesn't really matter. Yeah. Finally, science, commerce, and we have arts. Again, a whole lot of avenues within arts. Creative expressions through music, art, literature, all can promote Jain values. We are already I'm concerned about time, so let's quickly go to the second last aspect, which is E, emotion. E stands for emotion. There are fields where you play with the emotions of the people. Now, what are these fields? Architecture. When you go into architecture, you are making something for some others, and their emotions are tied to it. Then there is painting. Now, architecture, Mangal Prabhat Lodha, have made his own name in terms of Jain, or, you know about Asian paints. It was formed by the four Gujaratis. The Choksi and the Dani and the Vakils have formed Asian paints. Today, they make paints which really stop non-violence by way of such chemicals which does not lead to germs getting, developed. So that's how you encourage people. You go into designing. It could be fashion designing, interior designing, astronomy. These are the fields where you really play with the emotions of the people. These industries are neutral. Neutral in the sense that our principles does not really say yes or no. There is no clear answer. It's really up to you as an individual. आप कैसे उसमें आपके principles को follow करते हो, ये मायने रखते हैं. Civil services, again, when you speak about emotions, civil services, you can go and influence through your position. And that's how powerful the civil services are. Again, I heard today, when we had our Paryushan just completed, Honorable Prime Minister of India says, Michhami Dukram. in the parliament. That's such a great example of influencing through our culture. Yeah, we we have greats like Mahatma Gandhi. We have greats in examples of Chandragupta Maurya who actually adopted Jainism in our historical scripts. We have so many examples. So, you should try, and if you are taking into a consideration a career which could lead into a powerful position, always try to inspire, try to inculcate these principles. As Jains, now hear this, अच्छे से. As Jains, our role or our goal should be to do the most that we can do to promote compassion and non-violence in the world. And uh, while doing least harm to the others that we can. If each one of us do that, the world will be such a better place to live. Let's go back to the last aspect, HEAVEN, heaven. Now, this could be most relevant to people who are on call because N, when I say N, it says nature. नेचर क्या है? नेचर इज स्वभाव. स्वभाव कैसा होता है? आग का एक अपना स्वभाव होता है. क्या होता है? जलना, जलाना. बर्फ का एक अपना स्वभाव होता है. क्या होता है? ठंडा. हमको किसके स्वभाव जैसा होना चाहिए? हमको पानी के स्वभाव जैसा होना चाहिए. क्यों पानी? पानी एक तो प्यास बुझाता है. Yeah, very quickly. You should always try to help others. But more importantly, पानी साफ करता है. किसको साफ करता है? Self and others. That's how our swabhav should be. And let me give you some examples. In our career, we would need to adapt. The way that things are developing, the fast progressive country, the way we are moving towards technology, we will have to adapt. पानी के जैसा हमको फ्लेक्सिबल रहना पड़ेगा. तब जाके हम हमारे प्रिंसिपल्स फॉलो करके प्रोग्रेस कर पाएंगे. प्रोग्रेस, रिमेंबर द डेफिनेशन ऑफ करियर. So in whichever career you go, you will have to adapt to the situation such that you don't compromise your principles. Sports, for example, how do you make a choice? You go to a sports, there are training schedules, there are so many things that you have to do. There is a diet that you have to follow, there's an exercise that you have to do. You can still follow. How you mold is your choice, is really your own choice. We all can't be saints. It's difficult to change completely, but we can definitely modify, mold ourselves such that we progress following our own laid down principles. With this, let me come to what completely is not allowed. I mean, prohibited. Really, these industries are not made for Jains. Slaughterhouses, leather industry, industry where processing or sale of animal proceeds like fur or leather, hunting, fishing, killing animals for sport or food. That's absolutely not done. Pharmaceutical testing, where it involves a lot of research, or for example, lab research, which involves animals, live animals. So these are some things which are completely, prohibited, you can say. Prohibited is not the right word. I mean, our religion does not really prohibit, but it does not follow the principles of Jainism. What are the considerations that you should do while doing career planning? You want to follow the principles, you want to get into the good career, you want to progress. What are the considerations? So one, of course, you have to develop your skills. Identify what are your interests, and then find a career to your abilities. So one, focus on yourself, your skills. Two, do some research, do some exploration, explore the career options you have, explore the impact of the potential impact of the on the well-being, on you and on the environment. That's the second step. When you are done, you understood your skills, you have done some research, then do some networking. Today, networking is very easy. Connect with the professionals in the field that you desire to go. Connect with the professionals to gain insights, to gain guidance. You have LinkedIn's and the Facebooks of the world. Of course, you have your personal connections. Use all of them to do networking to gather more information. So one, you have developed your skill, you identified your skill. Two, you have done some research. Three, you have done some network and got some guidance. Fourth step is try to get into internships. A short period of actually working in a industry really helps to gather the actual reality of the job, of the office, of the something that you want to do. And finally, strive the balance. The last step is balance and moderation. Strive for a balanced approach to work in your professional life and your career. So when you do all of this, what is most important? Most important for you is how can you progress without compromising? Write down. It really helps. Today, irrespective of कितने भी हम टेक्नोलॉजिकली आगे बढ़े हो ना, लिखना फर्क पड़ता है. आपने जब ये स्टेप्स कर लिया ना, लिखो कि आपके नॉन निगोशिएबल प्रिंसिपल्स क्या है. पहले तो वो लिख लो. वो लिख के आपके जो ऑप्शंस है उसके प्रोस और कॉन्स लिखो. And then evaluate what are the which could be your best option. So लिखो, क्या लिखना है आपको? Non-negotiable principles, pros and cons. जब इतना लिखोगे आप, तब आपको खुद को आंसर मिल जाएगा कि आपको किस दिशा में आगे बढ़ना है. So finally, and for again people who are on this call, who may say that we don't really have choice. Now we are entered into a career. All you can do is try to follow basic principles. I was reading a quote somewhere about a professional, IT professional. While it felt very basic, मैं ट्राई करता हूँ कि मैं रोज मंदिर जाऊँ, मैं ट्राई करता हूँ कि मैं रोज पूजा करूँ, मैं ट्राई करता हूँ कि मैं रोज जल्दी खा लूँ, रात को लेट तक ना खाऊं, मैं ट्राई करता हूँ कि मैं पार्टी में ना जाऊँ, मैं आई डोंट ड्रिंक, आई डोंट स्मोक. These are small things, but yes, all of these put together helps. Try to do a parigraha. One of the most important aspect and so beautifully put in our principles. Even the Apple person had to leave. जिन्होंने खुद ने बनाया था, उनको वो कंपनी छोड़नी पड़ी. But he did it so gracefully because there is no possessiveness. So do follow a parigraha. Do expense for someone in need, and as we call it, sadharmik bhakti. You earn more. I'm not saying you don't earn more. You earn more and you spend more. Yeah. Do jeev daya. Do anukampa. The world is there out there. There are so many people willing out there to take your help. Whatever way and means, and you want to do, spend some time. I'm not saying money. Spend some time. There are people who are willing to give you money. You spend time doing that. It really will give you a lot and lot of satisfaction. With this, let me, conclude, bring everything together. We spoke about the road to heaven, and the road to heaven for us, which is the progress and following the principles. We spoke about HEAVEN. So to conclude, Jainism provides a framework, and it's we who have to make these informed career choices by following the principles of non-violence, truthfulness, non-possession, and celibacy. We can actually align our values and contribute positively to the society. So I want to end with the line: take ownership. Take ownership of your decision that feels right for you, and the rest will fall in place. We are all architects of our path. तुम कितना भी advice ले लो, guidance ले लो, parents है, friends है, have some kalyan mitras. Sorry, I forgot. You may have friends, but you may not have kalyan mitras. There is a difference. When you go to a friend, you ask something, they would suggest you a practical approach, but when you have a Kalyan Mitra will really put Jainism and give you the right guidance. Have some Kalyan Mitras. Okay, coming back, take ownership. But whatever guidance you take, ultimately you are the architect of your own path. So with this, it reminds me of a good stavan that we have. Sorry, I'm not a good singer, but I'll try to do a good job about it. मैत्री भावनु पवित्र झरनु मुझ हैया मा भया करे शुभ थाओ आ शकल विश्वनु एवी भावना नृत्य बसे रहे. With that, thank you so much. And I have last 5 minutes. If you have any questions, happy to take it. Anything else? I'm here.
Thank you, Taral bhai. So, request participants if you have any questions, you can put in the chat box, or you can unmute yourselves and even raise those questions. We have few questions for the participants as well. As a practice, we see, we jot down certain questions based on our speakers' discourse, and then we can check, the participants' attention. So maybe if participants have some questions, or I'll put across a few questions. Just the first basic question, what does heaven stand for? So request participants to put in the chat the full form of heaven as explained by Taral Bhai. Participants would put their questions, answers in the chat box. Okay, so I'll just summarize the definition of heaven as defined or explained by Taral Bhai. So H is for health, E is for equation of life, A is for attitude, V for vision, E for emotion, and N for nature. Uh, Please correct Taral Bhai if this is right.
Yes,
Okay.
bang on. Thank you.
Just one more question for the participants. Taral bhai, explain an equation of x, y, and x plus y is equal to 10. So what does x, y, and 10 signify? So what is the significance of x? What is the significance of y, and what would be 10?
रेनल भाई सिर्फ कॉपी पेस्ट करना है, ऊपर आ चुका है उसका आंसर.
अच्छा आ चुका है. ओ आई मिस्ड इट. ओके. चले कॉपी पेस्ट ही कर लेते हैं. ओके ग्रेट. And one more last question could be, Taral bhai has very well explained the concept of heaven. कौन से महाराज साहब की बुक से ये प्रेरित है? महाराज साहब जी का नाम अगर हम बता सके तो. Participant can post it in the chat. जी 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 महावीर भाई ने बताया है, रत्न सुंदर महाराज
Yes.
जी. जी. So with this, thank you so much, Taral bhai, for this wonderful discussion.
रेनल भाई एक क्वेश्चन पूछ लेता हूँ.
जी 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 महावीर भाई.
तरल भाई, ये क्या होता है कि करियर चॉइस जो है ना, इसमें एक मेन जो डायलेमा जो आता है ना, कि नो डाउट कि हम कोई स्लॉटरी वाला बिजनेस या ये पोल्ट्री फार्म वाला बिजनेस या इस टाइप का बिजनेस तो करने जा नहीं रहे हैं, लेकिन जो भी बिजनेस अपन कर रहे हैं उसमें भी वहां पे एक डायलेमा या एक कंफ्यूजन, एक द्वंद्व जिसको बोल सकते हैं हिंदी में, वो होता है एक मोरालिटी और एक इथिक्स के बीच में. मोरालिटी और इथिक्स के बीच में एक द्वंद्व चलता है. बहुत सारे लोग उसको एक ही पकड़ के चलते हैं कि एक ही सेम चीज है, दे आर सिनोनिमस. बट आप भी समझते हैं कि इथिक्स जो है वो बहुत ही आउटवर्ड काइंड ऑफ थिंग है और एक रूल्स रेगुलेशंस के दायरे में आता है, वेर एज मोरालिटी कम्स विद इन इनसाइड, एंड उसका एक अलग ही लेवल पे वो चलता है. और इसके बीच में फिर बैलेंस करना या एक को पकड़ना और दूसरे को छोड़ देना, ये जो है चीज, इसमें बहुत बार कुछ गलतियां हो जाती है. पर्टिकुलरली जैसे सीए प्रोफेशन है, हमारे प्रोफेशन में भी हम देखते हैं कि डे टू डे लाइफ में भी ऐसे कुछ बहुत सारे इंस्टेंसेस घटित होता है कि जहाँ पे इथिकली तो सब ठीक है, मॉरली ठीक नहीं होता है, लेकिन वी गो बाय द इथिक्स एज अ प्रैक्टिस एंड नॉट बाय मोरल. व्हाट्स योर टेक ऑन इट?
Very well asked, Bhavin bhai. And I would like to relate it back to जहाँ पे मैंने उसको टच किया था. जो हमारा विजन होता है, जिसमें मैंने बोला विचार और विवेक. Ethics that you are speaking about, ethics could be right or wrong. It's driven by your mind. Morality is what is good or bad. That's the minute difference. Something which is right or wrong and something which is good or bad. And that's why the line, which I quoted when I spoke about it, being right is not enough. Following ethics is not enough. You need to be good at it. Morally, when you go at the end of the day and have a sleep, you should be satisfied with your day, the way you have acted on that day. In short, that line, being right is not enough. You need to be good at it. And that really gels well with the ethics and the morality that you spoke about.
Thank you so much.
So thank you, Taral bhai, for this wonderful session. I'm sure the participants have benefited from the ideas and the tips which you have shared about how to choose about a career, according to Jain principles. I, on behalf of Jain Chartered Accountant Federation, would like to propose a hearty vote of thanks and request everyone to carry a vote of thanks with a round of applause and request all participants to do join for the next upcoming session as well. Thank you everyone for joining for this session.
Thank you so
Yes,
much, and the
just
pleasure was all mine.
Thank
thank
you.
you,
Thank you,
thank
Thank
you.
you
sir.
very
Thank
much.
you so much.
Very
Thank
nice,
you
sir.
very
Thank you
much.
so much. Thank you.
महावीर जी, next का session का थोड़ा सा information
Just
share कर
to
दीजिएगा.
announce कि we don't have session tomorrow. That's on 11th. We don't have session, but we will have session on 12th. और 12th का जो subject है, we are just discussing. एक subject हो सकता है Jainism and technology, या we are discussing one more subject on the same day, Jainism and relationship management. इन दो सब्जेक्ट में से एक सब्जेक्ट के ऊपर आपको परसों सुनने के लिए मिलेगा, और फिर अपना 15 तारीख को अपना लास्ट पुष्प हम इस धर्म चर्चा सीरीज में आपको समर्पित करेंगे, एंड दैट विल बी द जैन यूथ एज चेंज मेकर्स, जो नवनिर्माण या जो बदलाव घटित कर सकते हैं, ऐसे जैन नव युवक, और उनके बारे में हम जानेंगे ऑन 15th। तो बस दो ही सेशंस, 2 ही घंटे आखिर के। डू ज्वाइन इन नेक्स्ट टाइम, एंड ऑल द अनाउंसमेंट्स विल बी देयर इन धर्म चर्चा ग्रुप। थैंक यू सो मच।
Thank you.